everyone. Thanks for joining us. We've got Camilla and Danica who are going to talk about standing out on social media. I think we had an email that said don't post and ghost. So they're going to talk to you about that. So we're going to get started. It is 10:01. This is recorded, so we will get the recording out. I know a lot of people registered, but I think most people are going to be waiting for the recording. So Camilla, if you want to take it away and start with social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jody. Good morning, everybody. We hope that you are ready to go, ready to learn. We definitely encourage you to have water, Gatorade, coffee, tequila. It's a little bit early for, but if you do it, we're not going to judge you. But whatever is just going to keep you focused and present for the day today, that is what we recommend having. If you've never been to one of our classes before, my name is Camilla. Danica is here also. We love teaching all of our classes, but we definitely think social media, especially going into the heat of the summer, is something that's super important about. It's also something that we find a lot of people stress about. So first off, just, thank you for being here today. Thank you for spending some time with us. We know that you can do anything with your time and you could not be on another Zoom call, but know that we appreciate the fact that you are here and engaged with us. So to honor your time, we are going to move through things pretty efficiently today. And we definitely don't believe in just talking at you. So we will be asking you some questions along the way. So we're going to test it out. If you're not on camera with us, please react using the reaction buttons at the bottom of your screen. And if you are, you can just give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're still with me and everything sounds good for you. Okay, awesome, cool. So Danica, tell them who we are.
All right, so who are we? So basically, we here at 360 Business Growth, our team specializes in practices to deepen client relationships. And in kind of like all ways. That means like client retention. I know if some of you have been in our classes before, seen us around, we're known as the gifting girls. We definitely do that too. Our team has done over $1 million in business last year alone. This year we're actually trending towards like 1.8.
I'm watching a webinar. Go ahead.
And I know that some of you were like, okay, but I have listings that are that much or more, and that's totally fair. Our price point is a lot lower. So the important part of that number is not like the over $1 million or anything like that. It's that more than 50% of that number was and is going to continue to be repeat referral business. So who on this call would be interested in creating a business? That's 50% or more referral and repeat business. Raise your hands, react, thumbs up, all of those kinds of things. Fantastic, love it. So like I said, we talk a lot about client retention in a lot of different ways. And today we're really focused on social media as a tool of your business and your life as a tool of client retention. And really, why social media? Well, we see this as kind of like a huge area of opportunity for a lot of people. And I know so many people get really overwhelmed by like thinking about social media and all the different pieces of it. So what we wanted to do was kind of break it down in an easy way to make it really streamlined for more people, make it a little bit less stressful.
For sure. And the reason why we're talking about social media, I mean, a lot of you know us, and if you've been in our classes before, as like the gifting girls, and you're like, who are you to talk about social media? Like Danica said, we do see it as a huge area of opportunity, but I did work in digital marketing for a couple of years, and I've coached business owners before then, during that, and then also after that as well. And the how is clearly very important, but the biggest thing that we want y'all to know is that it really just starts with your mindset. It does not have to be like this big, scary, painful thing that you have to be doing all the time in order to have a business. And I just realized that our tech's not showing the slides, so hold on one second. We love that. Hold on. Technology loves us sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
Bam, bam. Yeah.
Perfect.
So it doesn't have to be painful because you do and you should have some type of presence, because these days it does seem a little bit sketchy if you don't have any kind of online presence. However, we want you to know that it's just a tool on your belt. It doesn't have to be scary. Like I said, it's there for you to have fun and connect with your people and really bring you back to your roots. So to start, we're going to go through some easy mistakes that we see a lot of business owners make when it comes to their social media, especially realtors, and then some simple fixes. And then we're going to talk about how to develop content in a way that doesn't feel stressful. Before that, though, we are going to give you 2 disclaimers. So here's the first one.
All right, so disclaimer number 1, before we get into any of kind of like the nitty gritty how-to stuff, we did want to put a quick disclaimer here in the beginning. You don't have to use social media as a business tool. And I realize that this sounds kind of like a little bit counterintuitive, starting a social media class with saying, hey, you don't have to do this. But at the end of the day, like really, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. It will not be the be all end all of your business. If at the end of the day, you choose to focus on other areas of lead generation and client retention. The purpose of our class today isn't try to convince you to be on like Instagram or the new TikTok or like whatever it is, the next new thing that's going to pop up or something like that. We basically want to make sure that you're able to utilize social media as like a low-key fun way to help your business, whatever your experience level at this point. So we really quickly wanted to make sure that we did that right at the beginning. Disclaimer number 2.
Is that if you are going to hire somebody in this realm, we want to make sure that you understand exactly what you're hiring for. So here are the 3 different types of social media workers. You have the people who are actually having the ideas for your social channels, the people that are making the creations of the content creators, and then finally you have your social media managers. Those are people that are posting, that are sometimes adding hashtags, sometimes the creators writing captions, sometimes the managers are, and also they're just interacting with your people on them. So I love working in social media when it comes to my area of expertise. I've done all 3 of those different things. I particularly enjoy doing the ideation. If you want somebody to write hashtags and do all those things, I'm not your gal, but I know plenty of people are. So when you are looking at potentially outsourcing any of this, if that's the way that you decide to go, or if that's something you consider in the past and are looking at right now, just be mindful and make sure when you're interviewing people for these types of roles to ask, hey, what are the types of services that you offer? Are they in the ideation, the creation, or the actual management of my platform roles? And then go from there, because that you should always be making informed decisions, of course, and understanding really what it is that you're getting out of the different types of roles. So now that you have our disclaimers, let's talk about a few different like errors that we see in areas of opportunity that realtors make and how to correct them.
So the first area of opportunity that we see a lot of the time is separating your business social media from your personal social media. And I know that there are lots of people who say that this is a positive thing, but we want to make sure that, I mean, like your work is a part of your life, and your life is a part of like your life is a lot of your work. So making sure what ends up happening is that people end up being very cookie cutter, right? Like having an Instagram that like, these are my listings, like a Facebook that's like, these are the things that I'm doing right now, instead of just being authentic and enjoyable to follow. Because at the end of the day, these platforms are for connection and they're for fun and enjoyment and all of these things. And if your social media is super cookie cutter and it's like just business things that are not like fun or entertaining, and then like all of your like fun and entertaining stuff goes like on a different account or like not at all, like that can be, well, you're not going to get that many followers that way, I guess. So your goal should be to have enjoyable and authentic pages. And Camilla's going to tell you how to kind of integrate those things.
Absolutely. So obviously that's the solution, right? Integration. Now, does this mean yet your business page has to share everything that you post on your personal page, or you can't keep certain things divided? Of course not. Does that mean that your personal page has to always talk about your business? Of course not. What it does mean is that the 2 should play together. And on Facebook, it's one thing, right? Because you have your personal profile and your business profile. On Instagram, honestly, what I've found to work the best is for people to have a single account that's them and their business, especially in such a people-facing role that y'all have. I know that oftentimes, you know, when we talk about social media, it's like, okay, well, the product that I'm selling is the house, right? So that should be the focus. But in reality, people aren't there just for what they're getting. They're there for who they're doing it with. And when it comes to actually engaging people on a way, and we get this question all the time, literally just got this question twice yesterday. Hey, Camilla, how do I differentiate myself, especially online? And my answer is very simple. I know it sounds cliche, but just like be you, because you are the actual different factor. Lots of agents out there, but there's only one of you that's an agent that's doing what you do. So the more you can actually lean into that, the better. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. Obviously, you can choose to just like automatically share things between your different pages. You can also just choose to especially on Instagram and things like that, shut down business profile and just, or have your business profile also be your main profile. But the point is, don't feel like you have to be in multiple different places as like a person and then also as a business. You can do both. And trust me when I say people definitely want to see what you're up to when you're not working, because that's, you know, important for a lot of people. So next area of opportunity that we see is definitely spreading yourself too thin.
Absolutely. So spreading yourself too thin means really that you're trying to be everywhere all at once. And what ends up happening is that one of 2 things happen. Number one, you either post the same thing all the time, like on every different platform, which is not necessarily like a positive thing. And we're going to talk about that in a second also. Or you end up just being like really overwhelmed and having all of these different options, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to make sure that you don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need to use every single platform. And I think that's really important. Like, we're going to talk a little bit about how to choose the platform that's the best for you, but I don't want you to think that you need to be everywhere all at once. So that's really important.
Absolutely. And that, by the way, is supposed to be a really cool quote for that, but it just decided to remind you to use an about you form. Okay. So what's the solution to that? Obviously, making sure that you're going one platform at a time. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a second. But genuinely, wherever you want to start, I recommend having a strong presence and actually making sure that you're posting and actually engaging and being on that one platform before you go and you open accounts and you try to do everything for everybody. Because especially these days, y'all, like everybody has a new hack and a new tool and a new something for every single platform. And that's one of the easiest ways to get overwhelmed and not do anything, or have all your content just look lackluster because you're posting every 4 months on one different account. So you're not really getting a lot as far as just like consistency and actual variety in your posting. So pretend you are this baby and the latter is your social media presence as a whole. Go one at a time, take it slow, and you will see that it becomes a lot simpler and a lot easier to actually have a strong, well-rounded presence when you're actually focused on one platform at a time. And then finally, the last area of opportunity that we see is that a lot of the times people only post, they don't do anything else. So that like, don't ghost, I love that, right? I can also relate to people who just throw up stuff on their social media and that's it. That's what they see the purpose of social media for. Is that a part of it? Absolutely. But it was developed, back in yonder days as a tool for connection, right? It's not like, people were just like, oh, we should have this thing. It's like a digital billboard where we should just say things and never talk to one another. Like, it's there for people to talk to each other. And oftentimes that's one of the most lost things. I've seen plenty of business pages across all industries, but especially in ours, y'all, where people will post on their business page and then other people will comment, people who follow the page, and they'll never get a response, ever. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, Camilla, but I don't have that problem. I definitely am responding to all the comments. Great. However, just remember that you don't have to comment or like every single post that people put up, but you do want to make sure that you're doing it at least 1 to 2 times a week at minimum. You want to make sure that you're actually interested in people's goals, that you make them feel important. Like one of our favorite quotes by Mary Kay Ash says, and really consider that a genuine comment in 30 minutes of your time will be worth a lot more, not just when they call for business, but also in just how they feel appreciated and just how they see you as a human being and not just a business owner. Danica, do you have anything to add on that?
No, I think I think that those are really great ways of fixing that kind of thing. Again, I think the most important thing is to remember that these kinds of platforms are made to engage, and they're made to really like help you interact with people, right? Like, if you're using social media as a tool to help lead generation and client retention, they're not going to work if you're just screaming into the void. They're made for specifically to like engage and connect with people. And that's the best way that you're going to retain these clients and gain new ones. So that's really important. I know that someone said I was echoing really badly, so I've shifted a little bit. Is the echo a little bit better now? Cool.
Yeah. They're like, maybe. Maybe, perhaps not. I mean, this is why you need headphones. I can toss you some headphones if you need them. Okay, cool. So let's talk numbers, right? Like, I think that is important to see kind of where we stand on retention and how we can use social media as a tool for retention. So let's look at how people are feeling about any salespeople, and then also how people are feeling about their agent.
All right, so let's talk some numbers. Forbes says that 68% of people feel that their salesperson is indifferent to them. This doesn't necessarily mean that you've done something wrong or messed up or anything like that. They just don't feel loved, right? They feel transactional. They're just not feeling the love from you. Just a 5% increase in client retention could increase your profits by 75%. So this is one of those things that, like, if you need a business reason, a financial reason to like want to connect with your people and like have a better relationship with them, then like this is the reason. 5% increase in client retention is going to be almost 100% of money back in your pocket. And this is really why we're here. In real estate, the numbers get a lot scarier. Only 9% of people can name their realtor 2 years after the deal. That's just a ridiculous number. That means that like 91% of people forget you after 2 years. And like, I get a lot of people saying like, no way, Danica, like my clients are coming back to me. Like I put the magnet on the fridge. They said they love me. I come back every time, whatever. Awesome. And like, I'm never going to be the one to say that maybe you weren't part of the 9%, but like statistically, not likely. We want to make you definitely part of the 9%. We want to make that 9% 100%. We want to make sure that your clients never have the opportunity to forget you. So that's really, really important. 86% of people said they would use their same realtor, but only 12% actually do. So that is really important as well. So like we're trying to fill that, we're trying to close that gap. We're trying to make sure that your clients always remember you, always come back. And at this moment, we're making social media the tool that'll help you get there a little bit faster.
Absolutely. Now here's a fun question. Feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to, or throw it in the chat if you want to do it there. How many touches do you think, according to Inman, people need to actually stay top of mind, whether it's a prospect or a client? How many touches a year do you think? No wrong answers, by the way. I know sometimes people are like, I don't want to be wrong. Let's see. Anybody? 12. Okay. Anybody else? Everyone's out there being like, I don't want to say 8. Okay, cool. Good guesses. So here's the actual number. It's 36. You need 36 touches a year with your clients, with your prospects, to stay top of mind with people. Now, here's the thing also, y'all, there are 8 to 10 agents that people know, according to Inman, right now, like off the top of their head, but they're only retaining 1 or 2 of them. Meaning when you're prospecting and you're working with people and you want to gain people's business, y'all know this, everybody is shouting at them. Everybody is marketing to them. So social media can be one of the most useful tools that you can employ to stay top of mind and actually have those 36 touches. It feels more organic and isn't like you're like calling every single one of your clients or every single one of your people once every week, almost, to get those 36 touches a year. Because at the end of the day, no, it's not the same thing as a phone call, obviously. However, it will still keep your name front and center, and it will still continue to develop that business and personal relationship. So here's the punchline.
It's really not your client's job to remember you. It's your responsibility and obligation to make sure that they never have the opportunity to forget you. So if you're like, well, my clients are going to remember me, like you're putting it on them essentially to make sure that they remember you, that they write your name down, that they keep your business card, that magnet stays magnetized for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years for the entire rest of their time that they could be working with you. But the thing is, like, it's really not their job to do that. Like, it's your responsibility and your obligation to make sure that they just don't have the opportunity to forget you. This is actually one of our very favorite quotes by Patricia Fripp, because I feel like it like one of the reasons why those numbers are so skewed like that is because oftentimes like we're like, okay, I've done enough. Like I've like talked to people, like I've talked to them a couple times. I don't want to bother them, whatever it is. And we want to make sure that like we're getting in front of our clients in ways that are fun, exciting, engaging, and also meaningful, to make sure that those interactions do happen so that they just never have the opportunity to forget you. So that they're walking down the street, they hear someone say real estate, and they're like, oh my gosh, my real estate's awesome. Here's their Instagram, you should follow. Or like they put the funniest videos on TikTok, or like, here's their Facebook page, whatever. We want to make raving fan clients for you. And so that's really what we're doing.
Absolutely. So again, like I said, social media, this is one of the tools in your business toolbox. And going back to the numbers Danica shared, like this is how obviously you can beat those averages. So here's some easy steps and like some very easy wins that you can have on social media if some of you are thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. So number one, a lot of the times we see agents who don't ever even ask their clients for their social media, like just not at all. And then they're like, well, how do I say, I'm like, one of the easiest ways on Facebook or on Instagram or what have you. Another great way is to make a list. So Facebook actually allows you to have a list making feature. If you go to friends list, you can put all of your clients, you can put all of your prospects, you can put your top clients of all time, whatever you want. And then you can log into Facebook. You can interact with those people, comment, like their stuff, and then you can log out of Facebook. Because again, the purpose of this class is not to tell you to spend all your life on social media, because that is not the biggest thing that will move the needle, right? So having targeted effort there, I think, is really, really important. Make sure that you're scrolling purposely to stay updated, and making that list will help, because then you're just staying updated on the people who's most important to stay updated on, and then everybody else can kind of go in your downtime. And then an easy win to have is to use it for birthdays, actually. So Danica and I talk a lot about you having like a birthday system for clients or for prospects or for both. Social is so easy to use that for, especially Facebook. So for some of you, that might look like just logging in every morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, okay, cool. Whose birthday is it? And then boom, I'm sending Kevin or I'm sending Lisa like a birthday message on it. Here's the number one tip though. Do not write on people's walls for their birthday, because especially these days, Facebook lumps all of that together and it won't actually pop up like, hey, John wrote on your wall, Camilla, or hey, Lorelai wrote on your wall. It will just say Dave and 67 other people wrote on your wall. So it will get lost in the shuffle. So if you want to send a message, definitely do it over Messenger. Or if you want to be like super pro, film a video, take 10, 20 seconds and send it over video and make it a habit to do that. You can also link your Facebook to go into your calendar so that it populates those birthdays on your calendar if you'd rather see it there. So now you know, obviously, like the mindset and like what we want to use it for. So I'm sure all of you were like, okay, Camilla, but like, tell me how. So we're going to go through 5 steps on how to actually build content in a way that feels less stressful and more simple. So let's start with the first step, which I'm sure none of you will be shocked by.
All right, this is just as easy as it sounds. The first step is to, of course, pick your starting point. So some key questions you want to ask yourself as you're picking a platform to start on. And again, we're going to suggest that you pick 1, maybe 2 platforms if you're already really familiar, maybe already have some in your building to start on. And if you're just starting absolutely from scratch, absolutely, I would suggest picking 1. So key questions you want to ask yourself here. Number 1, where do you like to hang out online? All right, this is a really, really big one because you do not want to pick a platform that you hate using. That's incredibly important to remember, because if you don't like being there, your content is going to reflect that, and then no one's going to want to hang out there with you. So where do you like hanging out online? Number 2, the second question is, where is my intended audience? So where are your people going to be? Like, where are the people that you want to be hanging out, right? Are they on TikTok, watching those kinds of things? Are they on Facebook, interacting there? Are they on Instagram? Like, is that kind of where it is? Is it someplace new? And then the third question that you want to ask yourself is, am I going to use one platform more for client retention and another for lead gen, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a really good question to ask, because like different platforms can be good for different things. If you want to kind of put out more content so that you can be like, I would like to attract people to follow me and look at what I'm doing, like there are platforms that are more keyed towards that kind of scenario. If you're looking for more interaction and integration and more really like deep connection or like genuine connection, there are platforms that are better for that. So that's a really good question to ask yourself. Step 1, pick a platform and just start.
And the other note on this one, y'all, is that this gives you express liberty to not be on platforms that you absolutely hate. Do I think every agent should have a business Facebook that has their basic contact information and occasionally has things? I mean, sure, that would be helpful. But if you absolutely hate a certain platform, stop wasting your time on it. Because every platform can be good for lead gen, every platform can be good for connection, but you're not going to enjoy building content or actually thinking about what to post somewhere that you don't enjoy being. So if, for example, I see this a lot right now with, raise your hand or react on the screen if you remember what Clubhouse is. Anybody? People are like, no. People are like, what's Clubhouse? Okay, so there was a point in time, late 2020, early 21, where Clubhouse was the rage. Like everybody was trying to get an invite to Clubhouse. It's this new app. Like it's going to be all these things. And it was cool. I mean, I was on it. I got on it because I'm obviously always curious to see what else is out there and what new platforms come out. And as somebody who, like I said, who worked in digital marketing before, I was so curious because the whole concept of the app is basically, it was like live podcasts that you could listen to, like jump into a room and you got to hear everybody talking. That's really cool. But how do you lead gen off that, right? Like if me, a random person, I'm not going to be like, ooh, I'm going to jump into Clubhouse today and search realtors talking about just anything, right? Like, and then they actually have to be actively talking for that. So it didn't work the way that so many people said that it was going to be this massive shift in lead gen for real estate. Didn't work, crashed. Now, a lot of people, the thing that everybody's asking me about right now and asking everybody is, should I get on TikTok? So that, if you're wondering, should you get on TikTok? Here's my answer. Number 1, do you like TikTok? Do you like watching videos of other people? Because if you don't like watching them, you're not going to like making them. And number 2, are the people,
I am going to mention about TikTok about like if you like watching videos. I think that there's a huge difference between do you like watching videos and do you like making videos. I love TikTok. I get into TikTok's holes where I spend like accidentally 2 or 3 hours on TikTok, usually after business hours, but still. But like I don't like making videos. Don't like it. Never been on TikTok. I mean, like I have a TikTok. I watch them all the time, but like I don't post anything. So that is not something that I use for my life or business.
Sure. The other note that I was going to say is, are the people that you're trying to connect with again on TikTok. So if a lot of your clients, I'll be honest, I have one client of mine who we exclusively almost just talk on TikTok because we send each other funny videos back and forth. Awesome. Great. But if your clients aren't on TikTok and you don't want to be on TikTok, then don't be on TikTok. That's my rant on why people should stop trying to just get on TikTok. Just don't make one. Just do what you like. Okay. So the second step is to decide on your life slices. So you're going to pretend that your life is a pie, and one of these slices, or a pizza, one of these slices is going to be your business. And then you have 4 others that are just specific about you. So I'll give you my life slices so that you know kind of like what the majority of my content is. So my partner, my husband, is one of them. People love seeing him. When I say I get more engagement when he's posting things or when his photo, like his face is in my photos, way more. Do they like him more than me? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he should just run my Instagram. So he's one of my like main life slices. Another one is books because I love to read. And so I do like on Instagram, I do this week I read, and I post about the different books that I read every week and who I would recommend them to for people that want to have new books. I post about like renovating stuff just because I got really into it during COVID. So now I do furniture stuff on the weekends and I enjoy that. So yeah, so my partner, my business, books, reno. And then recently, like I love to travel, and Jody follows me on Instagram, so she's probably laughing at what I'm about to say, is I do this thing called airport cardio, which is basically, I don't pack very far in advance in front of my trips. So I literally, most of my travel vlogging, I guess you could say, is just me dashing through various airports, telling people what my records are for how late I got to the airport and if I made it onto the plane. But it's really amusing, and people follow me and genuinely respond to that content just as much as they respond to my business stuff, which I think is hilarious because I never thought people would really genuinely just want to know, did I make my flight? But if I don't post that I actually made it, then people are asking me about it. So Danica's, for example, she also loves books. So she posts about that. She also likes travel, and she has her businesses. She does also like her cats a lot. So her cats are heavily featured in her TikToks, and we love mojitos. So when we're out together, chances are you're going to get a picture of a mojito somewhere. My point in this is that when you're thinking about what am I actually posting, the rule of 5 life slices can help you be in that 20% of what you're doing is business related, meaning sales related, meaning, hey, here's what I'm up to, here's my listing or what have you, updates on your business and like opportunities, questions there. And then the rest doesn't have to be. The rest can just be about your life, the things that you enjoy, what makes you you, and then that takes off the pressure. So if you, and this is an if, right? If you were like, okay, Camilla, I want to post 5 times a week on my Instagram or my Facebook, and I want to do that every single week, I would tell you, okay, cool. When you sit down, and we'll talk a little bit about plan creation in a second, but that's basically going to look like you're posting about your business 1 time a week, and then you're posting about your life the other 4 times. So it's a very simple breakdown once you actually get into it, but those 5 life slices are actually going to help you decide and define what your content is actually going to show. That's not just your business. So that's the second step.
Step 3 is all about planning. So Ben Franklin, LOL, didn't just give us daylight savings or, all the other things that he did. He also gave business planners their very favorite quote, which is, of course, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And yes, as cheesy and often overused as that quote is, at the end of the day, it's very true. Because especially when it comes to social media, we often underestimate how long it's going to take to make things happen. Like you can't just like get on social media, scroll a bit, make a thing, and then post it, right? I mean, you can do that, I suppose, but I mean, if you want to make this a tool for your business, it's a good idea to treat it like a part of your business. So you want to make sure you're planning those different things. So ideally, you want to chunk down your time. So all of the different pieces that are going into social media, are things like you want to like make sure that you have all of your ideation, like all of your ideas, brain dump all of that kind of stuff. Do like the research you need to do. You need to like actually plan and like create the videos, the photos, the captions, the hashtags, like all of these different things, like post creation essentially. And if you don't plan time for these kinds of things, and more importantly, the different parts of making the content, what ends up happening is you're like, okay, I have all of these different pieces to do, and it ends up feeling really overwhelming. And you'll be like basically be way less likely to do it even if you have the best of intentions. I will tell you that like for me personally, social media is one of those parts of my business that I have like it is a challenge for me sometimes to like make myself do these kinds of things. And if I don't plan on all of the different pieces of it, it absolutely will not happen. And so like this is super, super important. So like where in your schedule are you putting in like I'm coming up with my ideas? Here's where I'm going to be scrolling a little bit so that I can reach this and figure out what I want to do with things. All right, here's where I'm taking all my photos and videos. Like, here's how I'm going to edit it. Here's how, like, are you writing down captions like as they come to you? Are you going to batch create things? Which when you like do all of your creation for like a week or a month or a quarter at a time, like that kind of thing, right? These are all very important different things to actually put in your schedule. Otherwise, it's going to, just not happen.
Right. The other thing that I was going to tell you y'all is like large corporations, like when you're looking at a digital marketing team, it is not rare that people will batch create a whole quarter of content in one weekend, right? So they'll have people that ideate beforehand and then they'll get together and actually make the content all over one weekend. Like that kind of thing is possible. And it becomes a lot easier to make content. You get a lot faster at actually thinking of what to say and like actually making the videos, using the little features, if you're doing that kind of stuff. When you're doing it more often, absolutely. But especially when you're brand new, like you have to account for the different pieces of content and of being on your social media, and also account for the different times that you're actually going to get on to enjoy, right? You're not just posting and running, you're not ghosting, you're actually getting on with purpose and saying, okay, cool, like what comments do I have? Otherwise it turns into that thing where we're all in the line at the grocery store and we're like, I should check to see if my Facebook post got any comments. And then we maybe check one, and then we don't really have purpose behind it. So just make sure you do that. So the fourth step of this is to actually organize your social media plan and your content. So here's some thoughts. You could have a Google document. Back in the early days, I used to have a Google Doc where I would put like, hey, here's the week of June, and then the date of June 6th, and then here's a post on Monday, here's a post on Wednesday, here's a post on Friday. And then I would go in as I go. Like I said, if you do this, you can do this a month in advance if you want to. I know people who sit down for 1 hour every month and they're like, okay, cool, here are my life 5, and we call it content pillars in the industry, but here's my 5 things that I'm talking about, and I want to post 1 a week. So what am I going to say? Here's the 4 questions that I'm going to answer. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to post a picture of my cats. Boom, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can also, I recommend having a folder on your phone that's just social media inspiration or content ideas. So whatever platform you're picking, if you follow agents, if you follow other people whose content you see and you think, hey, that's cool, I like the way that they did anything, or I like the way that they wrote that caption or the question that they asked at the end, great, take a screenshot of it, put it in that. So when you actually sit down to make content, you already have a bunch of ideas of things that you personally liked, and you're not sitting there scratching your head going, I don't know what to write, or I don't know what to post, or I don't know what picture of anything to use, right? If you're super fancy and you're like, okay, Kamal, I want to be as hands-off as humanly possible, and you already have some experience, you can use a scheduling service like HubSpot, and you can load in all of your posts in there at the front of the month and then set it to automatically post to your pages. Just make sure that, like I said, that they have the variety and that it's timed. And here's a really, really important key, y'all. If you're going to do that, if you're going to set something to auto post for you, is stay aware when things happen across the world and turn off that auto post if it's not going to resonate. Meaning, the day that everyone's posting about like the Uvalde shooting in Texas, you probably don't want to have a post going up being like, today's a wonderful day, the sun's shining, who wants to buy a house? Right? Like that sort of thing. Sometimes people really forget that that's on. And then, you're scrolling through Facebook, you're seeing all of these different posts of whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, today's not a beautiful day, dear whoever agent it is. Automation company HubSpot is one of the things that you can use.
HubSpot,
HUB, and then Spot. That you can just Google like social media posting. Yeah, there you go. There's later.com. If you're on Instagram, you can use Planoly. spelled like this. So like look at your grid if you would like to do that. But yeah, so make sure if you're using something automated, just keep that in mind. And here's the other thing that I'll tell you, no, you don't have to respond to absolutely every single little thing that happens on your personal social media. Absolutely not. On your business one. You don't have to celebrate every single holiday either. Like the amount of posts that I see that are like, Happy National Dog Day, who has real estate referrals? I'm like, what does this have to do with you? Now, if you have a dog and you're like, Happy National Dog Day, here's my dog, and that's one of your life slices, amazing. But you don't have to do all of those things. And make sure also that you have reminders. So if you're gonna go the Google Doc route and you're gonna have something set out and you're like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna post it myself at 8 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever, great. Just make sure that you have a reminder on your phone that says, hey, Tina, post today. And then that way you know, oh, okay, cool, gotta go into my document, take my caption, take my picture, put it in, right? Depending on the platform that you're using, you can save things as drafts. Like Instagram, if you're making reels, you can save everything as a draft and then just go into it and post it. Can't do that on Facebook, unfortunately. So you're gonna have to go Google Doc for that one. But have some reminders on your tech, your Alexa, your physical calendar, your Google Calendar, whatever. Just make sure that you're reminding yourself to actually get those posts done. And here's the other thing that I'm gonna tell you on that is when you're actually organized and you're consistent enough, because that's the other thing that people forget is they're like, hey, Camilla, I posted 3 times on my Instagram and I didn't get a client. So it doesn't work. This is not the sort of thing that takes weeks. This is the sort of thing that takes consistency and habit over a course of months for people to get used to expecting content. But when they do, it lends itself to people actually, like me, when I post about like, hey, I'm at the gate, I have, my bags were late 5 minutes ago, will I make it today, LOL. People are expecting a follow-up, but that's over literal years of me posting every time that I'm running around in an airport. So, okay, last key once you've organized.
Step 5 is to engage and enjoy. So again, I'm going to reiterate kind of what I said earlier, where like these platforms are basically created so you can engage with people and then have fun with the process. If you're not having fun, at least a little bit in the engagement, the connection, all of these things in your content creation, like you really should be like, these things these should be a tool in your belt. And again, not the be all end all, but they also should be fun. There should be a fun part of it. And like, yes, there may be some parts of it that are not necessarily the most enjoyable for you to do, but like at the end of the day, like one of the things that I love more than anything is to laugh and to enjoy things. And one of the things that I do on social media is that.
I thought you were going to say embarrass me on social media.
That is 100% also true as well, although I haven't done that today, so you're welcome.
Yet, until the post goes up. So we'll give you guys
138. Anyway,
yeah.
My point is like, you should be engaged, you should be enjoying it, you should be having fun with it. And I mean, like this is like really the way to like really connect with people on a different level than just being like, hey, I was thinking about you, how are you doing?
Absolutely. And I'll give you 2 examples. One of them being one of my clients, Daniel. He posts on his social media like every day when he works out, and every day he does motivational quote. This is what he does every day. And so one day he had a really busy morning. He has a toddler, he's like 3. So he had to run him to school, to have this whole thing, didn't post his quote, didn't post his workout, whatever. His Facebook hadn't posted anything and it was like 12:30. No joke, one of his clients called his assistant and was like, hey, Mari, is Daniel okay? And she was like, yeah, why do you ask? And they're like, well, we didn't see a motivational quote from him, so we're concerned that something happened to him last night. And she was like, he's fine. He's just at a preschool. So he posted it at like 2 p.m. and was like, my bad, guys. Like, in case anyone was wondering, I am fine. I just didn't get to posting my motivational quote this morning. So again, you can have fun stuff like that when your clients expect it, when your people expect it, and they'll respond well to it. For example, I'll give you one last example before we go into a little bit of workshopping. I am a human being who is apparently incapable of walking the world without spilling things on myself constantly. Happens anywhere I go. I can make it any events and ever, and I will spill things on myself all the time. So yesterday, Danica and I were at an event, and there was a whole situation with a bottle of wine. I won't get into the details, but the important thing to know is that a lot of wine exploded onto me. Danica now has a video on her phone of me not able to open my eyes because of the amount of wine that was sitting on my face. And it's legitimately like all over my body. Like I had to scrub red wine off my skin because I was that doused in it. And I was like, wow, this is like actually perfect, because one of the things that people laugh about on my Facebook page all the time is me with things spilled on my body. So it actually saves me the opportunity. Thank you for sharing that.
That's
I was wearing black, so I think the clothes were fine. Other people's clothes were not.
spilled on was not fine.
My
So
face was not. Yes, and then sharing from others' posts, absolutely, Lorelai. That can be such a positive and such an easy way to do social media posts of your own, like sharing other people's. That's why I recommend anytime that you're doing anything with your colleagues, somebody put it on Facebook or whatever you guys use, and then the other person like share it. Because when you tag people in it, that's an easy way to say like, hey, like I've been here without you actually having to make it. And you can take turns doing that with people. You can share people's motivational stuff, inspirational stuff. Absolutely. I think that having a good balance of that, like if it's somebody that you know, do it all the time. It's fantastic. If it's just big pages, like I would recommend actually posting your own quotes versus, so that people can see that you like put some thought into it, versus just sharing some big box page every single day. But sharing stuff is absolutely one of the biggest parts of social. And can be a really easy win. So hopefully that answers your question, Lorelai. Okay, so we're gonna do an exercise. Oh, were you gonna say something, Dee?
I was just gonna say, I'm sharing other people's posts. Like it really depends on like what platform you use about that kind of thing. But like you want to make sure that you like credit them like the right way. And there are really easy ways to make sure that like the people who originally posted it are getting like tagged and credited for those kinds of sharings of posts. It's like
yeah, absolutely. If it's something that needs a credit, if your friend posts about you being at if Danica posts a picture of me with a mojito, I'm gonna just share. And make sure that you're
all photos that I post of you. I will be posting the wine video later on.
Yes, you can go to friend Danica on Facebook, and I'm sure you'll see it in a sec. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do a little bit of workshopping for the next 3 minutes. I'm actually gonna talk at you, so feel free, if you're looking at your screen, you don't have to look at me, look down, because we want to give you an opportunity to actually think through kind of like your next step in social media. So for the next couple minutes, I'm just going to throw some ideas at you, and you do that what you will. So when we say like next step, by the way, that looks different for every single one of you. So for some of you, that's just literally picking a platform. Some of you right now are like, especially the ones that aren't on camera, might be really giddy and might be like, you mean I can delete TikTok and not feel bad about it? Yes, absolutely. You hate TikTok, go delete it right now. Go do it. Make that your step today. For others of you, it might just be like actually figuring out what are my life slices, because you've never talked about yourself really on social media, and it feels weird to like think about your life, but just think about it. Might be your family, might be your pets, might be your hobbies. Everything that you do that like is interesting to you for a reason. So don't think that like, oh, I'm not, here's what we hear a lot with Danica. I'm not an interesting enough person that people care about. Going back to this, I literally have people who watch my Facebook to just watch me spill things on myself. Like, if you don't think that's the most boring thing that somehow people have gotten abusement from, I don't know what to tell you. I have people watching my Instagram stories to see. Jody texts me constantly. She DMs me on Instagram about my close calls in airports, because at this point, she's just like, she's living her best life watching me sprint through airports, right? Like, it doesn't have to be these huge things. Now, it can be something huge. So like, I'm a living kidney donor, and when I was donating my kidney, there was a lot that I was doing on social media to promote kidney donation and like what it takes to be a donor. And like my 1-year anniversary of donation is coming up, so I'll be posting a lot more about kidney. It can be big life stuff like that. When I naturalized as a US citizen, it was a big deal for my life, and it's something I was working towards for like 20 years. So like that was a thing. But it doesn't have to be. It could literally be the smallest things ever, but the more you post about it, the more people remember it. So again, remember, it has to be something that you're doing consistently.
Yeah, I mean, like yesterday, for example, I posted like the view from the window of my new house and like got more engagement than I had in a really long time.
People really want to see that backyard.
They're just like, oh, that's a nice window. I was like, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked at how many people wanted to know what the breakdowns are when I do mini renos in like corners of my houses. I was like, do you want to know how much this wallpaper costs? The answer was yes. And I was like, okay, I can tell you, Amazon. So there's a lot of things that you want to think about. And when we talk about this, again, remember, it doesn't have to be super strict. It doesn't have to be super heavy. It can be super simple. So that being said, we encourage you obviously to take that and roll with that as much as you want to. And we're definitely here and available for it. We do have something free for you though, just because you know us as the Gifting Girls. So you know if you've been in any of our classes before that we love giving you free things. So this code on the screen that you see here is for a free Cutco giveaway. One of you is going to win a free knife just for being here today. I know, we're so generous. We love it. So if you take a picture of it or just tap it on your phone, you can win a free knife. I'm also going to put the link in the chat. LOL. I'm just reading Jody saying I watch for airport. I mean, you can watch an airport run on Tuesday morning. I have a really early flight, so you already know 4:20 in the morning I will be jogging in an airport with my bag. I'm going to post a link as well. And if you want to chat about strategic gifting, which is what Danica and I talk about all the time, if you want to chat about social media, whatever you want to chat about, just let us know on the forum. You can give us feedback there and it'll be really simple. Put it in the chat. Let me know if anybody has trouble with that. Jody will also share that with you later on today so that you can get in the drawing. No purchase necessary. We won't market to you. We just will let you know if you want something.
I love
So,
that.
yeah, so-
It's necessary. It makes it feel so official because you get the all of those contests that are enter to win, no purchase necessary, asterisk.
Correct. So we'll end with this question, y'all. What are you building, right? What choice are you going to make today that's going to have a massive impact on your business 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? As you heard with the examples that I just gave, it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be scary, but it really does start today. So I encourage all of you to take time today to really think about what can you do just today, even if it's just deleting TikTok or deciding, hey, I want to be on Instagram stories, not on the feed. Okay, cool, do that. And just do something, because you can go to all the classes, you can read all the books, but if you never take action, nothing actually changes. So we definitely encourage you. And if you'd like extra accountability on that, you are more than welcome to ask us for it. And finally, we always end with our favorite Maya Angelou quote. At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you make them feel. And we hope that you take this as encouragement to be as funny or as kind or as warm or as serious on your social media as you want to be ever. And know that there are people out there laughing at the most ridiculous things. I literally follow just a scary looking cat on TikTok. And so do 600,000 people because we just like looking at this scary looking cat because his name is Chupacabra and Chubby does.
I have discovered that no matter how silly your joke is, someone is going to laugh at it, and more than likely, it'll be me. So, you're good.
Danica will laugh at all your jokes. The other thing that we'll do right now is we'll pop, Danica, put your social media handle in the chat. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want. I'm most on Instagram, most active there, most in my stories. You can laugh there. You can watch airport cardio. You can watch old airport cardio stuff. It's highlighted. Go through it. Friend us on Facebook, and just know that we're here as a resource for you in whatever way, shape, or form we can be, because we love you guys and we genuinely want to make your business life easier and less stressful than more. So that's it. Jody, any announcements before we wrap?
No, I want to remind people we actually last Tuesday, I think we had somebody that does TikTok and talked about TikTok and everybody was like, well, I don't do that. Well, that's okay. But I think the number one thing that Danica and Camilla got across is be yourself, because if someone sees you on social media and they like you and they can connect with you and the things you're posting, they're going to continue to follow and they're going to remember you. Don't be somebody you're not. Just be yourself, and that will help. Dave has a question. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, hey, so I utilize Facebook mostly, and then I do have a profile on Instagram as well. And on Facebook, I have a business page, and I leave that to be mostly business. And on my personal page, I leave that to be mostly personal. And I've got a lot of people that that are crossed over to both. I've got 865, I'm looking at it right now, 864 people following me on my business page and over 2,500 on my personal page, but I can never get any traction with the business page at all. Like I'll post something and it won't even hit people's feeds at all whatsoever. Any suggestions on how to make that hit the feed?
Yeah, I would just definitely just post more about yourself as a human being on your personal business page, just because again, remember also that like the market online is super saturated. So depending on what kind of content that you're posting, a lot of the times people are seeing the same things over and over and over again from business pages. So they've stopped liking it because they want to see less of it. So the more your page is posting something that's not what's happening on every single other business page, the more people are going to like that. And then it's going to start popping up, the algorithm is going to start feeding it to more and more of those people.
And this is one of those things that you can kind of like ease into, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just like all of a sudden just like blast your business page with all of your personal life, you know what I mean? I mean, you can if you want to, that's totally fine, but I would probably like, you know, increase.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
absolutely.
I even try boosting things and sometimes Facebook just rejects the ad. And I
It
don't
just,
understand why.
it's just not warm for you, and like it genuinely is, it's just like it's not set up for that. And remember again that like my personal ideas on Facebook are that Facebook can be a good resource for lead gen, but most often than not, it's a great resource to like stay top of mind with the people that are in your sphere.
That's what my
you know?
ideal goal is. Like, I don't really think I'm gonna get a deal just because I'm on Facebook. It's just
Yeah.
another touch, another thing.
So I honestly like I
I'm in
would
this
focus
business.
more on where you have more of a following, which it sounds like it's your personal site anyways. So if that stuff is doing more, then you know, just lean into that. And you can post updates, quarterly updates, here's what we did, or like here's a fun thing that I did with a friend in the business. But I wouldn't just worry too much about it because it's not long term, it's not worth spending all the time and energy thinking about it, even though there are thousands of people who will try to sell you the latest Facebook. Honestly, Lorelai, yes. The only difference is, for example, if you're going to have a business Instagram, that needs to link with a business Facebook page. So I would leave it active if you have a business Instagram that you want to connect to it. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's totally fine to integrate both. I think that it's cool to leave like something that I'm doing on my business Facebook page actually right now, because I do have it linked to my Instagram, is I'm creating like a permanently out of office notice on my business Facebook page. It's going to live at the top. It's going to be pinned. It's just going to say, hey, this page isn't actively monitored. You can reach me here with my contact info, but for updates and to follow me, please go here. Because I've noticed that
I
more
do
people
have my
are-
business page tied to the Instagram, but I mean,
Yeah.
as an example, I mean, just, you know, in the last week, I had a review and I posted it, auto posts actually onto my business page from the review site. I shared it onto my personal page. On the source page of the business page, I got 5 likes on it. On my personal, I got 65. Right. You know, I'm not even getting 10% of what it does.
It doesn't, yeah, it's really just, it's not going to hit is the reality. And that's okay. Because as engagement rates, especially on business pages, like engagement rates drop, the more and more people that you have following you. That's just kind of like the name of the game. Like I know people who have 50,000 followers and they get 100 likes on their stuff. So it's really just where that is. Oh, I was going to say a note on reviews. If any of you do share your reviews, and especially if you share them onto your personal page, I would tag whoever that reviewer is, and make sure that you're friends with them on Facebook so that it actually populates to their feeds as well. And then that creates a good opportunity for them to be like, oh yeah, this is my agent. And then it shows up on their page also. Lorelai, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to give up. I'm just gonna keep
I know
posting
you're
on
like Camilla's like doom and gloom. Just don't try. Just
So,
don't stress
you know,
about
I'm
it.
still trying to post, you know, I would say, you know, 4 to 6 times a month kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just way anybody that, you know, and I'm a lender, I'm not a real estate agent, just in case anybody checks out my business page, there's something on there, right?
Sure.
So they want to learn about me or what's going on in the market or what I have to say about
Yeah.
an article or whatever.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
I will say the more, I mean, the most, I mean, obviously there's like algorithm stuff going on there also, but like I will say that more than likely you're getting more engagement from your personal page because people are more invested in you than your business. And like there's a lot of argument like you are your business or your business is part of you and stuff like that. But like, you know, you're obviously getting more engagement there. So like it might be something like Lorelai was just asking about integrating those two things. So
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, always available. Let us know, hit us up, follow us everywhere that you want to. We're always here to chat, always here to have a mojito if you want one. Saturday, tomorrow we'll be at Havana, Walnut Creek. Come. But anyways, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing what things you come up with on your social.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you everyone for being here today. Great information.